Good morning, my dear students. This is Lakshminarayana, our teacher from Department of Economics, Adhikaranana University. You all know I am teaching for the third semester, the Agriculture Production Economics and Farm Management. It is an optional paper. I already did some videos earlier. The continuation of that videos. In earlier class, I thought about the role of agriculture in economic development for the on the same way. Now I am continue the same topic, that is role of agriculture in economic development. So that's why I'm ready to give some presentation also. I hope you are all safe at our homes. Before that, so still some of you have to submit assignments. The majority of the people are submitted, but you have to submit. Then only I will go for another lectures. So this is for your information. So please submit your assignments immediately. Now I would like to present my screen, the role of agriculture and economic development. So in this video, I would like to share my views regarding the role of agriculture in economic development and interdependence of agriculture and industry, and in another class on the empirical evidence of agriculture and industry. So please watch all the videos, and now I would like to present my screen. So in this screen, role of agriculture in economic development already. How does agriculture development help other sectors to grow? There are many ways by which the agriculture development helps the development of the economy as a whole, especially in the initial stages. According to Kuznets, agriculture makes three types of contribution to the overall growth of an economy. These are the factor contribution, the product contribution, the market contribution. Once again, uh, according to Kuznets, agriculture makes three types of contributions. They are the factor contribution, the product contribution, the market contribution. Regarding factor contribution, you all know what are the factors: land, labor, capital, and organization. So here, the agriculture provides provision of capital and provision of labor. Regarding product contribution, the provision of waste goods and the provision of industrial raw materials. I'll know the regarding market contribution, expanding market for the products of other sectors, flow of agriculture products to other sectors of the economy, and development of international trade. So here, one by one, we can explain. The first of all, regarding the contribution of uh, So there are many ways which the agriculture development helps the development of the economy as a whole, especially in the initial stages. I already told, according to Kuznets, agriculture makes three types of contributions: factor contribution, the product contribution, and the market contribution. We discuss these contributions in the paragraph. Like this, regarding factor contribution, development of agriculture releases some resources for being transferred to the other sectors. As these resources are productive in nature, we call the transfer of these resources to the non-agriculture sector as a factor contribution of agriculture. Factor contributions can be in the following forms. One is provision of capital, and another one is provision of labor. The non-agriculture sector requires funds for acquiring material capital in the initial stages of their development. These funds will be generated in the agriculture sector and then transferred to the other sector. In a closed economy, in the initial stages, it is the agriculture sector which commands most of the income, capital, and also labor. Even when an underdeveloped economy is an open economy, the differences between a closed economy and open economy. With foreign trade enters, it is called open economy. Without foreign trade, it's a closed economy. The outside source of capital, like foreign aid or foreign commercial investment, can make only a limited contribution to the economic development. Further, foreign political influence is likely to accompany such capital, and this may not be acceptable to the present day underdeveloped economy. The transfer of capital to non-agriculture sector can be voluntarily or compulsory. It's voluntarily when the agriculturists themselves invest their savings in the industrial projects. The agriculturist industries of England and the land owners of Japan present an important example of this type of voluntary flow of capital to the non-agriculture sector. There are so many examples, and history is giving more examples for this explanations. There is yet another way through which agriculture can provide capital to the non-agriculture sector. Nurse, you all know Nurse. Nurse has referred to this process. According to him, in density populated agriculture economies, there already exists zero value of labor, that is, labor whose contribution at the margin to agriculture is zero. This is what we call disguised unemployed labor. This labor can be taken away from agriculture and utilized for producing some overhead capital through of crude nature, example roads, embankment, canals, etc. You all know about the disguised unemployment. So where the marginal productivity is zero or close to zero is you can say disguised unemployment. Not say pointed out this. If we can transfer or we can give employment to non-agriculture sector, there is relief from the relief burden will be relief from the agriculture sector. At the same time, help in development of non-agriculture sector, we may, however, note that this source of capital is available only in overpopulated economies. So, regarding another contribution of factor is provision of labor. So, another factor contribution of agriculture towards economic development is through the release of labor by the agriculture sector for the non-agriculture sector. There are three potential sources of labor supply for the developing non-agriculture sector, namely natural population growth, immigration, and farm population. The supply of labor from first two sources can never be smooth and adequate. Supply through population growth will be very slow in coming forth. It may also be not in the interest of the nation to encourage population growth. Immigration has its own problems, differences in religion, language, customs, lack of knowledge, etc. act as strong barriers for immigration. Under these circumstances, for a rapid development of the non-agriculture sectors of population remains the only dependable source of labor supply. There are so many theories of Louis Ranify model about this transfer of labor from agriculture to industry. In the ongoing classes, we will discuss all these issues. So that's why you can say that agriculture provides some capital to grow non-agriculture sector. At the same time, agriculture provides labor to the grow non-agriculture sector. That's why you can say that agriculture sector is providing capital and labor. That way, agriculture provides factor contribution to the other sectors, that is non-agriculture sectors. Kuznets has expressed the importance of transfer of labor from agriculture sector to non-agriculture sector in another way. He feels that this transfer also in fact implies a transfer of capital invested in the agriculture labor. He says we could still argue that integral migration of labor from agriculture represents a large transfer of valuable resources to the non-agriculture sector and a large contribution to the country economic growth. So here another contribution is product contribution. Regarding product contribution, the product contribution of agriculture towards an overall economic development takes two forms. These are described as provision of wage goods, provision of industrial raw materials, and flow of agriculture products to other sectors of the economy. So, regarding provision of wage goods, when the non-agriculture sectors are to be developed, people will have to shift from agriculture to various occupations in these sectors. But they will require food for the sustenance even after shifting it to new sectors. In fact, their demand for food grains is likely to increase as a result of increase in their income after their transfer to non-agriculture sectors. The demand for food grains can also increase because of another reasons. The farming population still left in agriculture might find its income increases due to the higher prices of agricultural products as a result of increased demand. This may spur it to the increase its own consumption also. This is our view is the most important contribution to the agriculture sector. The non-agriculture sector developed their dependence agriculture for other contribution that capital, labor, raw material, etc. reduced. However, dependence of the non-agriculture sectors on agriculture provision of wage goods will as strong as ever unless, of course, new scientific innovations also result in the production of perfect synthetic substitute for food grains. So another contribution is market contribution. So in the market contribution, expanded market for the products of other sectors, and the flow of agriculture products to other sectors of the economy, and development of international trade. So I will explain one by one. So regarding market contribution, the contributions focuses attention on flow of goods generated by the development of the agriculture sector, a flow which helps the development of other sectors. This contribution can take various forms. Expanded market for production of other sectors. Regarding this first one, so far we have been emphasized that agriculture development is imperative for providing inputs necessary for the development of the other sectors of an economy. However, any sector for its development requires not only the inputs necessary for the production but also a wide market for its growing products. A growing agriculture sector provides an expanding market for the products of the other sectors in the initial stages of development of the economy. Agriculture sector, while helping the development of other sectors, also finds the income of its people increasing. This increased income in turn leads to an additional demand for the products of other sectors, not only for consumption purposes but also for production. It may be noted that no doubt other sectors can all sell their products in foreign markets rather than depend on the domestic markets provided by the agriculture sector. However, in practice, it is not wise to rely upon a foreign market in the initial stages of development. Lack of sufficient knowledge about the foreign countries, excessive competition, unfavorable commercial policies of the foreign countries, etc., will make the entry as well as operation of the domestic foreign markets rather risky and unprofitable. The next one is flow of agriculture products to other sectors to the economy. Development of agriculture makes another type of market contribution also to the economy. As agriculture develops, more of its goods will be sold in the market. This will in turn bring into the existence many institutions providing marketing, processing, packing, distribution, and a few other services. David Metcalf focuses our attention on these two markets contribution in a more effective way. According to him, agricultural development through providing market for agricultural inputs and consumer goods promotes the industrial sector developed industrial sector in turn helps in through the spread of modern technology in agriculture and by providing an expanded market for agriculture. This is a vicious and a virtuous circle as opposite to vicious circle. Virtuous circle is opposite to vicious circle of economic development, which in the process give to the institutions facilitating two-way exchange of the commodities. A development of international trade. So surplus products from the agriculture sector as a result of its development can move to the international market. This is in turn can result in the flow of necessary capital as well as consumer goods from outside. The growth process of the economy as a whole can thus gain momentum. In a way, we can say that in the case of development of international trade, agriculture combined market contribution with factor contribution, procurement of capital through an indirect one from the development of non-agricultural sectors. Uh, so these are the contributions of agriculture according to Kuznets: factor contribution, product contribution, and market contribution. So contributions of the industrial sector to the development of the agriculture sector. So here, industry sector also gives some contribution to the agriculture. Industry provides market for the products of the agriculture sector, provision of modern agriculture inputs, and reduction in the pressure of population on land, supply of consumption goods, provision of infrastructure for agricultural development, intellectual environment. So the first industry provides market for the products of the agriculture sector. No doubt, in the initial stages, industry sector develops. However, once has reached maturity in the technical sphere and is able to use minerals, raw materials, it depends on agriculture, the supply of capital or labor, or even for the raw materials goes down. Demand for waste goods, however, continues after this stage. Industrial development. Demand for more raw materials from the agriculture sector is only a matter of choice for the industry sector, and after this stage, still desired demand for agriculture products, especially the raw materials, should continue to grow. It is necessary to ensure that the industry sector itself grows further. Only a growing industrial sector will provide an demanding market for the products of the agriculture sector, and thus create incentives to the further agriculture sector, thus create incentives to the further growth of the land. The expansion of these industry sector will strengthen the commercial motives of the farmers, and they likely to shift from the food crops to the cash crops they will produce for the market to the other sectors. So another way, supply of consumption goods. The industry sector providing to the supply of consumption goods to the agriculture sector. The developing industry sector supplies not only modern inputs to the agriculture but also the consumption goods. Their consumption pattern is diversified. Some comforts and the luxuries also find their way into their consumption schedule, and their standard of living rises. The urge to maintain the new standard of living in turn and, induces the agriculturists to the work hard. Provision of, and another thing is provision of infrastructure for agriculture development. No doubt, modernization of agriculture depends upon the use of modern agricultural inputs, but for their use, many supportive services are required. We need, for example, good means of transport for carrying the inputs to the farms and the products of the farms to the market. Means of the communications are required for providing information about modern technology to the farmers. Power is needed to turn the machines to be used in agriculture, schools, agricultural research institutes, colleges, hospitals, and warehouses, etc., are some of the other component of the infrastructure required to the for the development of agriculture. These are all the gifts of the industry sector of the others non-agriculture sector. So another one is intellectual environment. It is obvious that a modern industrial sector, when in contact with the agriculture sector, will transmit its less tradition about the intellectual environment to the latter. Such an environment, uh, which is extremely favorable for the creation of new skills, capital formation, decreasing birth rate, technical innovation, and above all, for creation of entrepreneurs class will obviously help the agriculture sector in this development. So, so this is the this way You can say that according to Kuznets, agriculture is contributions are three types: fact contribution, product contribution, and market contribution. And regarding fact contribution, you can say that one is agriculture providing capital to the industry sector and non-agriculture sector. Labor also providing from the agriculture sector. Regarding product contribution, provision of wage goods and provision of raw materials. Also, easy, we are already explained. Regarding market contribution, expanded market for the products of other sectors, flow of agriculture products to the other sectors of the economy, development of international trade. So, regarding contributions of the industry sector to the development of the agriculture sector, industry provides market for the products of the agriculture sector and provision of modern agriculture inputs, reduction in the pressure of population on land, supply of consumption goods, provision of infrastructure for agriculture development, and intellectual environment. So, in next class, we can discuss about the interdependence of agriculture and industry, how the interdependence of agriculture and industry, and what are the what is it called, empirical evidence for the interdependence of agriculture and industry. So, thank you for listening this video, and we'll give questions after completion of the uh, next class. So these are all interrelated questions. The I can say this. So thank you for watching this video.